Okay, so you're looking to stay ahead of the curve, figure out what PC games are actually worth watching in 2025 and maybe even a bit beyond.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always good to know what's coming down the pipeline.
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We found this great piece listing 16 upcoming PC titles.
16, wow, okay.
Yeah, and our job basically is to sift through that and pull out the really interesting stuff for you.
Sounds like a plan. Consider this your curated guide then. And looking at the list, I mean, the variety is pretty striking. Different genres, different styles.
Definitely seems like there's something for almost everyone.
For sure.
All right, let's jump in. We'll go chronologically by release date. First up, April 23rd, 2025, we have the 100 line, Last Defense Academy.
Ah, right. This one. It gives off that Danganronpa vibe, doesn't it?
It really does, that kind of hyper-stylized, slightly unsettling anime look, maybe even a bit violent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is how it mixes things up. You've got this whole mystery unfolding in the academy, but then it cuts to these strategic, grid-based battles.
Grid-based, okay, so like a tactical RPG element.
Yeah, kind of. Think positioning, unit strategy, that sort of thing. It's a neat blend of, story puzzle and actual combat tactics.
And the core idea is surviving 100 days.
Right. Surviving 100 days.
Yeah.
And the big question is just how many of these 15 students are actually going to make it out? Sets the stakes pretty high from the get-go.
Yeah, no kidding. Intense. Okay, then literally the next day, April 24th, there's Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33. I remember seeing this one. The visuals were really something else.
Oh yeah, they definitely made a splash at that Xbox Developer Direct, didn't they? Super impressive looking.
Totally. What's the deal with this one?
Well, the art style takes cues from classic JRPGs, but also has this Belle Époque France aesthetic. Really elegant.
Yeah, interesting, mate.
But the gameplay is where it gets really ambitious, I think. They're calling it turn-based combat, but with real-time mechanics baked in.
Wait, how does that work? Like timed hits or something?
Possibly. The article compared it to a JRPG and Elden Ring, baby.
Haha. Okay, that's quite a comparison. So, strategic turns, but maybe with demanding timing or reactions?
Something like that, yeah. It suggests depth, both in the turn-based planning and maybe some action elements. Plus, they're talking up the character build variety, too. Sounds complex, but potentially really rewarding.
Intriguing. Also on April 24th, busy day, Fatal Fury. City of the Wolves. Now, this is a blast from the past for fighting game fans.
Oh, absolutely. It's been, 26 years? A long time.
Seriously, so what's new? Or is it just classic Fatal Fury?
Well, the core is still there. Those fast-paced fights, the counters, the classic feel. But they're adding this new REV system.
REV system, what's that about?
Seems like a strategic layer. It wasn't super detailed, but it sounds like it might enhance fighter strengths, maybe add some resource management for special moves, push things towards more proactive offense.
Okay, so evolving the strategy. And
Yeah.
visually.
Big jump. They've gone from the classic pixel art to this really nice-looking 3D style. Apparently, they're leveraging models from King of Fighters, which makes sense. Looks gorgeous, honestly.
Nice. Okay, moving into May. May 6th brings Metal Eden. This sounds like a switch up more for the FPS crowd.
Definitely. The article flags it for fans of top FPS games on Steam. It sounds pretty straightforward, high-octane stuff.
That's the premise.
You're a hyper unit, whatever that is, on basically a suicide mission to an orbital city that's just fallen apart. Carnage everywhere.
Okay.
Visually, think bright colors, lots of cybernetics, fast gameplay. It seems to be all about, blasting robots with cool guns.
Sometimes that's exactly what you need, right? Pure action.
Pretty much.
Then, just a couple of days later, May 8th, we get the Midnight Walk. This one's been getting some buzz, I think. Horror game.
Yeah, definitely anticipated. And it's mostly because of the art style. It's really unique.
How so?
They call it a stop-motion nightmare. Think. Maybe like Coraline, but much, much darker and creepier.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds genuinely unsettling.
Right, and the gameplay seems built around that atmosphere.
Yeah.
You got this lantern and this little companion called Pop Boy.
Hot boy, okay.
And you're navigating through darkness, trying to deal with these monsters.
Nice.
Less about jump scares, maybe more about that creeping dread and visual horror.
Yeah, that kind of atmospheric horror can really stick with you. Very cool. All right, jumping ahead slightly to May 15th, a huge name, Doom, The Dark Ages.
Ah, yes. You can't talk FPS without mentioning Doom. The pedigree is undeniable.
And this one's a prequel, right?
Exactly. It's set before the recent Doom reboot and Doom Eternal. It's exploring the Doom Slayer's origins, but in this more, fantasy setting.
Fantasy. How does that work with Doom?
Well, he's apparently fighting for kings and gods this time. Not just against demons from hell, though there are still demons, obviously.
Right.
Including, wait for it, demon dragons.
Demon dragons in Doom. Okay, now I'm interested.
Right. It's a wild concept.
Yeah.
The trailers apparently show the usual awesome shotgun action, but also this weird skull gun.
A skull gun sounds very Doom.
Totally. The mix of classic Doom feel with this new medieval fantasy twist is, yeah, it's got people talking.
I bet. Okay, next up, May 20th, Dune. Awakening. Arrakis as a setting. That just screams massive online survival game, doesn't it?
It really does. The harsh desert, the politics, the sandworms, it's perfect.
And Funcom is making it. They did Conan Exiles.
Yep, that's them.
Yeah.
So they have experience with this kind of online survival RPG and with adapting big licenses. The article stressed it's meant to be more than just, Dune pasted onto a generic survival game.
Good.
Seems like they're really trying to use the unique parts of the Dune universe. Could be great for fans waiting for more Dune stuff.
Yeah, fill the gap while waiting for the next movie makes total sense. Then, just one day later, May 21st, Fantasy Life-I, The Girl Who Steals Time. This one feels familiar.
Yeah.
Wasn't Fantasy Life on the DS?
It was. Yeah, this will hit the nostalgia button for a lot of people. And the big news is it's coming to PC and Switch.
Oh, nice. Wider audience then.
Definitely. It's described as a really cozy RPG. You explore a town,
Right.
pick from, I think it was 14 different jobs.
14 jobs. Wow, that's a lot of choice.
Yeah, lots of variety in how you play. You can decorate your place, gather stuff, cook, fish, explore. It's kind of chill and live this fantasy life,
Sounds like a perfect palate cleanser after something intense like Doom or Dune.
Exactly.
Closing out May, on the 30th, we're going back to Elden Ring. Sort of. Elden Ring Nightreign? What's this about? Not DLC.
No, it's actually a standalone multiplayer co-op game. Action adventure.
Okay, interesting. So, Elden Ring, but co-op focused.
Seems like it. The gameplay loop is described as teams of 3, or you can play solo surviving on this map that changes.
Yeah.
It's got a day-night cycle, and then boss battles at the end of the night.
Oh, okay. So more structured, maybe.
Yeah, sounds like it. And it gets harder as you go. Could be a cool way to experience that world with friends, maybe a bit less overwhelming than the main game for some people.
Makes sense. All right, into June. On the 5th, Rune Factory. Guardians of Azuma. Another series usually found on Nintendo consoles, right?
Typically, yeah. So, again, it's cool to see it getting a simultaneous PC and Switch release.
What's the setup here? Still that farming fighting mix.
Pretty much the classic Rune Factory blend. You're an Earth Dancer in this Eastern-themed land called Azuma. You'd be fighting monsters, farming, building relationships with the townsfolk. Another one filed under Cozy RPG, but with that action combat too. The article mentioned a promising story and nice visuals. Sounds like a solid entry for fans.
Good stuff for that genre. Okay, now prepare yourself. June 17th. Date everything.
Yeah. This one's something else.
The premise is just wild, isn't it? You put on magic glasses and date household objects.
That's the pitch. Ordinary stuff transforms into, quote, hot 2D characters.
Right.
It sounds completely bonkers. Apparently there are like 100 dateable things.
Right.
Yeah. Fully voiced, multiple endings. It just sounds like pure chaos and probably pretty funny. Definitely aiming for replayability just to see how weird it gets.
Gotta give him points for originality, I guess. Okay, July 17th, Shadow Labyrinth. This has a weird hook, too, right? Like, Pac-Man meets something else.
Yeah, the question posed was, what if Pac-Man was in a dark sci-fi 2D action platformer?
Okay. How does that even work?
So you play a swordsman, and you have this yellow orb companion named Puck.
Pupuke.
Yeah, and the core idea is you eat weaker enemies, like Pac-Man, to get stronger. And apparently you can combine with PK to become some kind of terrifying Pac-Man weapon.
Whoa! Okay, that's unexpected. Taking a classic and twisting it completely.
Yeah, really creative, actually. Could be a really fresh take.
Definitely stands out. Okay, moving into the back half of 2025, August 28th. Huge one. Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, the remake.
The long-awaited remake. Yeah, massive anticipation for this.
People adore MGS3. Are they messing with it much?
The developers are saying they want it to be a really faithful recreator of the story, but with, evolved gameplay and obviously modern visuals.
So keep the story intact, but update how it plays and looks.
That seems to be the goal. And the screenshots apparently look very true to the original environments. Just way better looking.
That's probably what most fans want, right? Keep the core, make it shine.
I think so. It's a big one for sure.
Then, September 23rd, finally, Borderlands 4.
Yes. After years of waiting, the next main installment, Looter Shooter Mayhem, returns.
About time. Any big changes mentioned? Or just more Borderlands?
Well, the biggest change seems to be the setting. It's not just Pandora again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to a whole new alien planet, which is great news, honestly. Promises a genuinely fresh experience, new places, new enemies, new guns.
Awesome. Expanding the universe instead of just staying put. That's exciting.
Definitely.
Okay, rolling into October, prime spooky season time. October 2nd, we have Directive 8020. This is from Supermassive Games, the Until Dawn folks.
That's them. The masters of choice-driven horror. So you know what you're generally getting in terms of style.
Right, branching story, consequences, but this one's sci-fi.
Yep, shifting to sci-fi horror. The premise sounds very... The Thing, maybe Alien. There's an alien mimic involved, infiltrating a spaceship crew.
Ooh, nice. Classic paranoia setup.
Exactly. The crew wakes up, realizes their ship's been invaded, and they have to figure out who's who and just survive. Sounds perfect for their interactive drama style.
Yeah, that feeling of distrust in a confined space always works. Definitely one for horror fans.
For sure.
And finally, rounding out our list in October 2025, Vampire, the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Man, this game has had a journey.
It really has. It's been, 2 decades since the first one, which is a huge cult classic.
Yeah, and this sequel had some serious development troubles for a while, didn't it?
Oh yeah, very rocky period. But it seemed to be back on track now, which is great news. They've shown post-alpha gameplay.
Okay, good sign.
Confirmed 4 playable vampire clans at launch. DLC planned. It sounds like a pretty substantial RPG is finally coming together.
What's the pitch? Neo-noir thriller.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Neo-noir thriller set in Boston. You play a customizable elder vampire navigating the modern world and the politics of the Camarilla. That's the vampire society.
So dealing with being ancient and powerful in today's world.
That seems to be a core theme. Adapting, surviving, probably manipulating.
Yeah.
Should be really interesting for fans of the World of Darkness lore and deep RPGs.
Sounds like it. Phew. Okay, well, that was quite the tour through 16 upcoming PC games for 2025 and a bit beyond.
Yeah, quite a list.
Hopefully that gives everyone listening a much better idea of what's actually heading our way. Maybe flagged a few titles to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. I mean, the sheer range is impressive. From cozy RPGs to intense shooters, horror, strategy. There really is a lot coming. This should definitely help folks plan their gaming year.
For sure. So maybe a final thought to leave people with. Looking at all this variety, all these different games coming in late 2025, what kind of trends or, I don't know, defining experiences do you think might emerge from this lineup for PC gaming?
That's a great question. Will it be the remakes hitting nostalgia? The unique indie concepts? The big AAA sequels? It's going to be really interesting to see what sticks and what shapes things going forward.
Definitely something to think about. It's looking like a fascinating period ahead for PC gamers.